It's time for a cup of red, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie. Welcome. It's not a spooky episode. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but here we are, Cup of Rad episode. It all started with Disney. Part 2. We're going to jump back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of you probably experienced the Disney afternoon.
Yes.
Right?
At some point.
At some point. These were some of the cartoons that came out that were half-hour cartoons that Disney had their hand in. One, it has a theme song that will get into your head and never leave for a week. Magic and mystery are part of our history, along with the secret of gummy berry juice. The legend is growing. They take pride in knowing they fight for what's right. So, I hope you can finish that.
Gummy bears!
Oh, Katie did it for you.
Bouncing here.
Nah, you know what the best part is I hope someone is listening to this on like a bus with headphones and they start humming it. I
love that cartoon. I loved it so much.
That was my goal with this entire episode, was to have you thinking about gummy bears.
Earworm.
Yes. Fun fact, some may have known it, especially if you ever listened to, it wasn't on his video cast, but it was back when he was doing just straight podcast. Rob Paulson had talked about gummy bears and the creation of gummy bears.
Really?
With one of the ones that, I don't know if it was, I think it may have been with Jim Cummings episode.
That would make sense.
Or one of those ones from that era. But basically the idea that when they were trying to create a new IP, they needed something that they didn't have to pay for. They were throwing around ideas and someone had said, you know what, my kids really like gummy bears. And they're like, write us a script because we don't have to pay for gummy bears. And they changed the spelling of it, and literally gummy bears came out of the fact that someone in the room at that time said their kids like gummy bears.
Huh.
And
look at that.
Yeah. And it was a great cartoon. Yeah. Trolls and orc things, and they bounced here and there and everywhere. Mass destruction beyond compare.
Oh, yes.
But, I remember that cartoon being fantastic. That then spun out to having DuckTales. Woo! Right? Everyone loved that one. A lot of people, it's interesting when you talk about DuckTales, though, they always think about that Nintendo video game. Scrooge was bouncing along on his cane and all that. No. Like, that's something that a lot of people say. When we're like, oh, DuckTales, like, oh, you remember the Nintendo game? You remember how hard that game was?
And like haunted their childhood.
Right? Like, no, I'm talking about like the actual DuckTales. The
thing it was based on?
The cartoon.
That's funny. And then Tailspin.
Well, yeah, Tailspin. That was a weird switch for everything because DuckTales was like his own thing.
Yeah, and then Tailspin like took other characters and made them like they were actors in another TV show.
Yeah.
And I was always like, Baloo from the Jungle Book is in a cartoon and he's a pilot.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, when did he get clothes? Like, when did they evolve?
Like, they took things... Shere Khan was in it, too,
Shere Khan, right?
Yeah.
Louis.
Yeah, it was like the Jungle Book decided...
And then Don Carnage.
They got a casting call from the Jungle Book, and they're like, oh, yeah, we want to be part of,
right? That just played into everything that Roger Rabbit talked about. That they're real.
That they're real,
and
right? Yeah, like that's it. They were all belong. They just left the set for Jungle Book and went on to Tailspin.
Yeah, and I love Tailspin. Tailspin was such a weird cartoon.
Yeah,
because it was the idea.
You were so excited to share that with us.
Of a cargo pilot in some bygone era that didn't really fit.
Some weird Caribbean
there was
bar.
Weird
islands.
Air pirates. And and he was super flamboyantly, and just like
good stuff.
That was a great cartoon. And then spinning out of DuckTales, which was another weird thing. It was just like all of a sudden they had Darkwing Duck. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the moldy cheese on your week old sandwich. But then Launchpad showed up.
Yeah,
he was just looking for a job. He just showed up. But I love that cartoon.
Yeah,
that was just a fantastic tune because it fit into that time where superheroes were big.
Yeah,
and it was making fun of superheroes when it wasn't cool to make fun of superheroes yet. Like, so it was still like,
well, because it reminds me of like The Tick almost.
Yeah, you know, like just it's the satire with the, right? You know, it was just pure ridiculousness because it was making fun of Batman.
Yes.
You know, especially once they ended up going on making comic books for it too, like later on, like the current stuff that they did, they're totally ripping off Batman there. And it's just fun. And then from that, there was Goof Troop. Which
I never really watched that one.
Oh, really?
Then again, I didn't really watch Darkwing Duck 2. I remember like DuckTales and Tailspin Gummy Bears, all of those, but I don't really remember. I knew of them. Yeah. But
I love cartoons and I just stuck with them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know, it was like the idea whenever I had a chance to watch cartoons, I was just like glued to the TV to watch cartoons. But then, Goof Troop, I liked it because it was goofy and he had his son and Pete was in it, you know, randomly with his son, PJ. But then we got the Goofy movie. And that thing's just like is amazeballs. Like it for being which was going to be a direct to video to end up being in theaters. It's so good and there's so much heart in it. Yeah. It's so good. And it's a goofy movie. Right? Who would have thunk? Yeah. You know, and
well, it's dealing with another relationship idea.
Yeah. I think it's the growing up. It's
exactly.
You know, Max, like that's where like the series, Max still was okay with his dad, but now the Goofy movie came and now he's older and he was embarrassed.
Exactly.
You know, from him being, and that's the weird thing. If like Disney's allowed Max to grow up from this little redhead kid from the 50s to now he like in the, you know, the extremely Goofy movie and Twice Upon a Christmas.
Right.
He's in college. Like
right?
Now we just have that jump. Is he suddenly going to show up with kids and Goofy's a grandpa?
Well, because that's one thing that is funny is the movies don't ever deal with children having to really reconcile with their parents. Yeah. Because they don't have any parents generally, or they only have one, and they don't. It's not about them trying to deal with that relationship and growing up in that aspect, right? So that was definitely unique for that.
Yeah, and I really like that. I still don't get why Disney has never put that on Blu-ray or anything like that. Like
no,
they just like
weird.
They brought it out once on DVD, and then they were just like, even when the anniversary came around, I thought for sure like the 25th anniversary dropped a couple years back that it would have shown up on like Blu-ray or something, and they're just like, nah, we know you guys love it, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't
see if you can find it.
So then there was this other TV show that I seriously thought I made up in my dreams. And it was not meant to be egotistical. I thought I was just tripping balls. Was Gargoyles.
Yeah, that one, when I started talking to you about that and you were like, wait, I didn't make that up?
I thought I had a dream, and it sounds ridiculous,
right?
But I could, because what happened is I had these weird like gargoyle flashbacks. No one knew what it was.
Well, because
I couldn't talk to my brother about it because he was too young. Yeah, and I didn't know how to describe it to the point of being able to look it up, because it got to that point where I wouldn't have been able to look it up because it wasn't on the internet with the time frame that it was. Right, it disappeared because I didn't know how to find it.
That was one of those ones, like at least up here, it was on at night up here. Yeah, in Canada. I don't know where it played down there, but it wasn't on the Saturday morning cartoons at first.
Well, but see, I watched a lot of cartoons after school too, right? So,
but then you became a Nick kid.
But then, we watched a lot of Nickelodeon for sure. Like I watched, by that time, I was watching a lot more of the live action Nickelodeon stuff and all of that. So that might have gotten mixed in with it. It might have showed up in weird snippets in the evening, and I didn't quite know what it was. Yeah. And like when we
it's
have
dark
it on disc, and I watched it and I remember it now. Yeah. But I seriously felt like I had made it up. Yeah. And I remember when you told me about it, I was like, I feel so much better now.
Well, it's a dark tune. It's different from anything else Disney's put out. Yeah. They even still really don't do anything like it. And it was another thing of them creating something that they didn't have to pay for. It had a couple seasons and then it kind of lost its viewing because then I think it shifted stations. Like that's one thing that always boggles my mind with these studios and companies, any of them, is that the moment you move a time slot or you're trying to find a better place for it, viewership goes down, and then they're like, oh, it's a failure, can it? Right. And then they brought it back for like this weird third season that a lot of people don't take as canon because it's weird. And even I think Greg Weisman has been like, no, that's No, don't.
We're just ignoring that.
Yeah.
Then we don't talk about that.
Really, for me, from that, I was that early 90s Disney afternoon kid, and I loved those cartoons. And there was a big span where I didn't really watch any Disney TV cartoons. Like, I honestly couldn't tell you. As much as I love the Mighty Ducks, I never really watched the Mighty Ducks cartoon.
Yeah.
But jumping forward, Disney XD, there's not a lot on there cartoon-wise that I watch, but there was a couple that ended up coming out in a big way that really spoke to me.
Well, they are ingrained in our life now.
And one of them is Gravity Falls.
Yes.
Gravity Falls, if you have not seen it, is a cartoon where a couple of twins get sent 12-year-old twins get sent to live with their great uncle for a summer. And it's all the hilarity that ensues because there's something wrong with the town, and it's mixed between them dealing with, on the cusp of turning into teenagers and dealing with the mystery and mayhem that is in the town and the secrets and everything. And it's so well written. And I didn't catch it when it first came out.
Yeah, we found it later.
And
you found it randomly.
I was bored. I was working. It was I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch this thing because I keep seeing the ads when they show up. I'm gonna check it out. And it was Sock Opera was the first one I watched. And I remember when the explosion hits and all the sock puppets are flying through the air, Katie turned around and was like, "What are you watching?"
It was like,
and I was
even
laughing.
Have words. Like, there is sock puppets flying through the air and he's hysterical, and I just was, what in the world?
And then the next one I watched right after that was the Dipper vs. Manliness and the Manitars.
Yeah.
So we got fists for nipples. All right, climb onto my back hair. I smell jerky. Man. And I watched those 2 episodes and it was like, hey, PVR, record all. Because whatever this is, I need to see it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because this thing is amazing.
Yes.
And I think we've watched that thing 5 times over.
And our son knows every single episode.
Yeah.
We have watched it from the very beginning through. We now have it on Blu-ray as well, and we're starting to watch the series again on Blu-ray now.
It's because luckily Disney and Shout Factory got together and brought out the entirety.
Thank you.
So no more fast forwarding through commercials or anything like that. We can just watch it, which is awesome.
Yes.
I really hope that they have that relationship and they do it with some more series throughout their catalog, because I think it would be really beneficial for them.
But that show, we can watch that repeatedly.
Still laugh.
We still are hysterical.
When we were watching on our PVR, because we always leave our TV on XD, on our cable box on XD, in case our son decides to watch TV.
Yeah, it's like our default channel.
Yeah, because there's nothing on there that he's going to turn on and be like, oh my God, my eyes.
I don't want to do that myself.
And but like you'll be watching something at night and you turn on, off the recording, and all of a sudden there'll be Grunkle Stan and my ex-wife keeps missing me, but her aim's getting better.
Oh, because he's so questionable, and there's so many good characters, and Dipper and Mabel is just hilarious. She's so positive and happy and upbeat and ridiculous, and I love them so much.
I successfully bedazzled my face.
They make Seuss into a human disco ball, and Dipper is just panicked and worried about everything, and then it turns, it's so dramatic, and then we all cried at the finale.
I think it's one of the best finales for a television show.
Because it was planned.
Yeah.
It was structured. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have kept going, and it needed to happen. I remember how emotional it was to watch the end of that, because it was just so well done.
It was a good closure for it, but it was still...
And I love it, and I miss it, but I will watch it over and over again, because I'm glad that it didn't keep going into oblivion.
Till it was like, oh God, it's still going on.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, if you have not seen it, please go check it out.
Yeah, it's still playing on XD constantly.
Yes.
So you can definitely check some episodes out, because there is some funny stuff in there that we laugh at, and our son is like, what are you guys laughing at? We're like,
You'll understand.
You'll understand later.
Mainly with Grunkle
Where
Stan.
can I fence a pug?
He talks about getting in trouble in the law, like in South America and stuff. Like how many times he's had problems and taxes and the feds and like all sorts of things. And yeah, it's hilarious. That's one of those things that's actually interesting for you, with us having talked about things that talk more to me as having a sibling opposed to you as a single child, that you can still find so much humor in it while not having a sibling. But I think it's because you have background characters, say Seuss, who doesn't have any siblings, or Wendy has way too many siblings. There's things that you can have that speak to everyone.
Exactly.
It's not just one type of person that I can talk to, right?
And watch the cops in the show.
Yes.
And if you watch it all the way through, you'll get an excellent payout in the end. Alex Hirsch got that in there, and it's fantastic.
Yes.
It's one of those ones where I keep laughing at.
Can you tell we like this show?
Well, we even went to Disneyland. We did a Halloween costume. We did Halloween time with our son.
And they're one of my favorite costumes we've ever done.
It was super fun.
Mike was Dipper, I was Mabel, and our son was Seuss.
Yeah, and that's what he wanted to be.
That was one of his favorite costumes ever. He specializes in Halloween costumes that made people ask him what he is.
Yeah, if it doesn't ask, if they're not sure who he is,
it's not really right for him.
Yeah, but yeah, I made a little bag for him, and it said burrito bites, because Zeus always eats burrito bites. And
like Mike put his heart and soul into that. I had my Halloween candy bag was
Smile Dip.
It was
Onwards, Emoshima!
Crack candy that was expired from like overseas. Yeah, Smile Dip yum yum stuff. And it had these like tripped out completely on Sugar Rush puppy dogs on the front of it, and it had a fuzzy pink handle.
Of course I'll eat your gummy paws.
Nom, nom. You can just comment on episodes.
There we go. Well, maybe we'll live podcast Gravity Falls.
And then Mike made a whole journal for himself as his candy box.
My candy box.
Redid that.
So we
can find some pictures of that and share that on social media for you.
Because that was really fun. That was a really fun year for sure. We tried to get him to do Grunkle Stan, but he wanted to be Zeus, because he just wanted to walk around with his thumb up and say, "Hey dudes."
Yeah, because it was, and it fit with him really well, because he didn't have to really play a character too much more. It was much more of like, I'm cool, I'm quiet. So that was super fun for sure.
But definitely Gravity Falls. Like, give it a go, because it's hilarious.
Tell your friends.
And the other one that we absolutely love, that's starting its 4th and final season soon,
Star versus the Forces of Evil.
It's gonna get a little weird.
It's gonna get a little wild. I love this show. Star is hilarious.
It's a great show.
It's so smartly written.
Yeah, the animation is smooth.
It's trippy, and it doesn't care that it's trippy.
Yeah,
there has been multiple episodes where it ends and we're like, what?
Yeah.
What? That's the end?
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess we'll just see what happens.
Yep. Well, there's even been episodes that none of the main characters really fully show up. Like they
had one whole episode that was just the
Inside
bad guy.
the Wand.
Yeah, Inside the Wand was an amazing episode.
They did a whole episode of what
with
just happened. Spider with the top hat. With a machine gun.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or the Ludo's episode where it was silent.
It was silent. It was super artsy.
There was like no real dialogue or anything. It was just,
they started out more,
they were 15-minute episodes.
And so they would do 2 back-to-back 15-minute episodes. They were here, and it was just high school life feel, and her kind of getting used to it. And then it moved on to the little bit of a bigger picture of the world, and a bit more of the conspiracy feel and the mythology almost.
Yeah, with the monsters.
Yeah. And it moved back to her home planet. And so it's been a little bit more intense, a little bit more of an overwhelming story, not so much of like each episode being its own thing. Yeah,
I do miss some of the zaniness.
Because that's another one of the ones we turn off TV at night and we have Star on, and it's like, oh, well, what's going on here? You know, and we just sit there and laugh. You know?
I'm a princess from another dimension.
That's another one of the ones that I had almost a Disney bounding type.
You wore a turquoise dress.
I had a turquoise dress, and I had
the
fun
the hearts on your cheek.
I had giant pink hearts on my cheeks and a little devil headband.
Yep.
It was awesome.
I made you that little wand necklace. And
he made that one. I should share that. He made me a little foam necklace that looked like her wand, which was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And then Mike was Marcos.
Yeah, that was pretty easy. It was just black pants and a red hoodie.
Red sweatshirt. Had to wear the red sweatshirt because that's all he wears. So that one.
Should I wear the red hoodie or the red hoodie?
So that one's coming to an end now, but it's definitely, if you can catch it on Disney XD at all, it's worth a watch. It's funny. A lot of inspiration from Sailor Moon for sure, and that's really where a lot of that has come from.
Yeah.
So.
Other one that XD did that we really enjoyed was Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
Weird to say in a Disney podcast, but Disney is working with Star Wars.
And it's on Disney XD. So.
Yeah, and the Clone Wars never really grabbed my attention. Even when I tried to watch it with my son, he would get bored. But
it's like watching a war happen and all the military
and the political drama,
and the political, right?
But Rebels, that one just blew me away. That's what brought me back to Star Wars.
Very much so.
That is what brought me back.
I think those characters matter more to you even than some of the classic ones.
And you know what? We'll save more of that maybe because we'll do a Star Wars episode.
Star Wars. But yeah, that one is, speaking
and
of
we still
current cartoons.
Yeah, and we still keep catching that when we turn stuff off. Because
and we keep catching all the feels ones. The dramatic, I have to watch this again right now.
It hurts my soul. Yes. Who's dying now?
Right. So we'll definitely completely...
We'll talk more on that later, I think. Yeah. But the latest one that we watch is DuckTales.
DuckTales, yes.
Woo. The new DuckTales.
The new DuckTales, which again, I am loving their new style, their new animation. It fits right in with the Disney Mickey shorts.
Yep, and the humor in it is just hilarious. And they've given everyone such a good personality.
We were concerned, I know we've talked about this before, but we were concerned with the voices and everything, and if they were really going to give us a good representation of what we loved as children. But I think the triplets are so much better than they were classically because they are all individual people.
Yes.
Like they should be. Yeah. They're not just one Hydra head.
Yeah.
And they've done such a good job of developing their characters. They are unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so good. It's coming back to definitely worth checking out.
And Scrooge is amazing.
Yeah.
And my man crush is David Tennant.
Yeah. So even as a duck.
Even as an old duck.
David Tennant gets your meter running.
You know what? Honestly, I could have cared less until Doctor Who.
No, you had a thing going on for Scrooge before you started watching Doctor Who. You were just like...
Because Scrooge is hilarious. He's like such an adventurer and I'm just super confident I can do anything.
Oh, yeah.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Now with watching more Doctor Who, you're able to see that they kind of threw in those Time Lord elements.
Yes.
To Scrooge, especially with him being trapped in another dimension
and so
at some time.
Now he's combined, the lines are blurred and it's amazing. Right. It's good stuff.
Disney's also done a lot of live action. Like I remember watching, because my grandfather really liked Swiss Family Robinson.
Oh, okay.
That one never really clicked with me. And there's a few other ones like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and all that. As much as I love film, I never really gravitated those.
Only live action that I really knew of when I was a child was Mary Poppins.
There's
and then
that,
as I got older, I was like, they've done so many others. And because to me, Disney was animated, right?
Yeah. So there wasn't a lot for me that was like a live action that really clicked. The one that caught me, we've already talked a little bit about it, was of course Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And that was just a brilliant melding of technology and animation and live action, and it was like that weird like guilty pleasure growing up because it was so adult.
Yeah. But yeah, just Jessica Rabbit alone.
Right. There's a lot of questionable material in there for it. That's
all the drinking.
The drinking and the smoking and the violence and the sex and the patty cake.
When you think about
patty cake. Patty cake.
I know.
Patty cake, patty cake, patty cake.
Yeah, wow, that is an adult movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a weird thing because like once I still enjoyed the animated and I still watched the animated at Go Theater and all that, but I would never, through the 90s, I don't really, like I remember Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember going and seeing or even watching on VHS or like anything too many live action Disney. No. It was like I got my live action fixes from other things.
It was like, well, I don't need Disney anymore. If I'm gonna watch Disney, I'm gonna be like I'm watching a cartoon.
Yeah. So the one that really grabbed me, I guess it's not fully live action, but it kind of is, would be Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's not live action at all, but it's not animated in the same sense. So it's its own thing.
Yeah. So definitely we did talk about that. So go back 3. And what's it called?
Tender Lumplings.
There you go. Go check that out if you haven't already, because you'll hear all our thoughts about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
It's a 4-hour epic. Get ready for the song and dance. But besides that, the one, and it sounds almost cliche, but Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think that kicked off. That is a Disney live action. That is the epitome of it now, right?
Right. That first one, when that came out, was just, wow.
Mind-blowing.
So much fun, because I was not expecting something so dark from Disney.
Yes.
Right? It was their first ever PG-13.
Well, it sounds funny, but it was pirates. Like, it was real pirates.
Yeah.
You know, scallywag feel. It wasn't, they were, glamorized, of course.
Yeah.
But so much of their nods of the ride, put into the movie.
Yeah.
And it was just unbelievable to see all that, right?
Yeah, and that first one with the skeleton warriors as they walk under the boat
so
and all that.
beautiful.
It was just a fantastic film. The sequels, I still enjoy them for what they are, because
Nothing
I like the
compared
world.
to the first one.
I think if they hadn't tried to do 2 and 3 together as much, they may have succeeded.
I think they tried to make too big of a world for it.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it had went from 4 key people to all of a sudden there was 200 of them.
Yeah.
And it was just too much.
Yeah. So, and then even 4 or 5 and 6, it just kind of...
Too many of them.
Yeah, the last one, Dead Men Tell No Tales, had some good moments, but at the same time, that opening scene made me think of Fast and Furious with the safe and all that. That's where the series got. It turned into
it's Disney's Pirates, Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you're right.
But that original one is just so beautiful and brilliant. It's just the best thing I can give for At World's End is it's probably the bravest studio avant-garde film for when they get to the world's end and go off.
Oh yeah, that thing's
the trippiness. Yeah, right. And then they get to the rock world, the sand world with the crabs. It's super weird, but yeah, that's a great series. But the other one that really live action in the last little while that blew me away was
Tron Legacy.
I love
that movie.
And we already kind of touched on not really touched on it. We talked about the music.
We talked about Daft Punk and
the music in that, because the music I think is what really makes that movie.
Yes.
Because it makes you feel like you're in a video game, because it's so epic sounding.
Yes. I'll listen to that soundtrack all by itself.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Right?
They did such a good job, but I really, really like that movie. I didn't know Tron until that Tron Legacy was there, and then it was I should go watch Tron.
Right.
So I didn't really have a connection to it when I was younger, but I really appreciate it now, and I love the story. It's a weird idea. It's a weird concept, and you kind of have to throw your belief out the window and just be accepting whatever weirdness is going on. Sure, I'll believe it. And they did such a good job with it, and a good storytelling twist.
Oh, it's a great action.
Yeah.
The style that's set up for it. My only real gripe with this is the fact that they tried to set up a third one, and because it didn't do so well, then there's no third one.
Yeah. With
the fact of her coming out of the grid. So that kind of leaves that plot hole, because at the same time, it'd be kind of cool if they might still, it was so many years, it was 20, 30 years in between the Trons. They just wait another 20, 30 years to make Tron 3, and
who knows where it'll be there,
right? So I think that's what they need to look at, making it kind of almost, because at the same time, it was at the forefront of its technology on the original Tron. Legacy wasn't necessarily at the forefront of its technology, but it was still pretty visually stunning for what it was. It almost needs to be like their technology based Fantasia. Just happen every 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Where are we now?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that movie, and it's just fantastically done.
I bought the Lego Tron light bikes. We're not going to speak of the fact that they're still sitting on the shelf months and months and months later.
The moment that thing was able to be ordered, she was on it.
I ordered it. I got it free with all my Lego reward points, which is fantastic, and I didn't want to lose out on it because I was afraid it might disappear.
Yeah.
But I keep telling myself I want to watch the movie while I build the Lego, as if I have to make those two together, and it just isn't happening. But I do have a little light cycle Lego set, which I really do need to build.
Well, maybe we can do that.
Maybe we can do that, yeah. So what other live action movies, we watched the Alice in Wonderlands, we saw Maleficent. We won't get into that.
I won't touch on them.
And I appreciated Alice, but it didn't blow me away. Cinderella, though, I had gotten to the point where I was leery. I was worried about the live action stuff because I really liked the original of its classic feel.
Yeah.
And I was worried about it. And I ended up watching it, and I love it so much more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And it's grown with me. Every single time I watch it, I love it even more. And I really, just like, really love it. Because it's a completely different take. Mm-hmm. It's taking, because Cinderella is not a Disney original. It's a completely its own fairy tale.
Yep.
And this is just another version of it. And it wasn't a shot by shot of the animated. It wasn't animated Disney redone. It was the story of Cinderella told completely new and different designs, and it hit a lot of the same beats because this is on the base same story. It was beautiful, and it was such a more in-depth story, and the prince actually had a part.
Yep.
You felt more like there was a reason why she fell in love with him. It wasn't just to escape her horrible household. She actually had someplace to go that she actually felt wanted and loved, not just, I'm not at home anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so there was so much more meaning and depth to that story. And the king was, you cared about him, you cared about the prince. You I'm overwhelmed with how much I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, the Cinderella one I like too because it did feel different.
Yeah.
Without being like, hey, look, we're different. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's where I felt like Alice kind of went in that direction. It was like, we're a sequel, but we're different. And
yeah, it didn't have the same magic.
And for me, Maleficent didn't hit the beats because I wanted her to be a cruel bitch. I wanted her to be the meanest of the mean, and instead she became the anti-hero. I didn't enjoy that. And I like the Jungle Book because it felt different enough from the original, even though yes, it still had some of the songs in it.
Yeah.
It still felt different enough. And unfortunately, when say like Beauty and the Beast came, Beauty and the Beast was too shot for shot for me. So yeah, I agree with you full-heartedly that Cinderella brought something different.
I loved her dress. I love that it was still blue, but it was a completely reimagined version of it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it fit more with the period too, right? Like
yeah,
that,
you know, and
elegance.
you felt so much sadness when she lost her dad because you knew what a wonderful person he was. So you just felt even worse for her with her stepmother and her stepsisters and everything. And she was just such a beautiful soul and a beautiful person, and she cared so much to make the world wonderful around her. You know, in the animated, it was a simple story, of course, but it was just shown through her love of the animals.
Yeah.
But you could even see it with her, the way she treated her family, even though they were horrible to her, but everyone she just treated with kindness and respect no matter what. And I think that's a role model right there.
Yeah.
If I had a daughter, it'd be like, no, watch this. This is someone I want you to model yourself after, you know?
Yeah.
And it was inspiring for me as an adult, right? To be like, I want to be like that Cinderella.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that it did a wonderful job.
Yeah,
so.
totally.
I think we've talked about all of the different mediums and watching things. So what else do we love about Disney, Mike?
Huh. I don't know. Is there anything else we could possibly love about Disney? Is there anything at all?
Any magical place?
Magical kingdom, maybe?
Any magical lands?
We are huge Disneyland people.
Huge
Disneyland people. When we lived down in that area, we had the pleasure of living close enough that we could drive easily. And we also were at the perfect time when annual passes were really cheap. Well, not really cheap, but a lot cheaper than they were now.
Yeah.
And hotels were a lot cheaper.
So we hit the end of the magical period where we could still manage to go there.
Right. We spent a lot of time at Disneyland. And, you know, we had been at Disneyland before. I had been a couple times.
I had been twice before I met you. Both times, ironically, not with my family. One I went with a family friend and one with a school trip. So I had really good memories of the place.
Yeah.
But I was quite young. I was in 4th grade and 8th grade when I had gone. And then I went again with you just shortly after we had first met.
Yeah, that was the 3rd or 4th time I'd gone.
Yeah.
I remember going, I was like 4, I think. It was before I was in school we went. And I remember Disneyland being so empty back then.
Yeah.
Because I remember the characters were able to like freely walk without getting mauled.
Yes.
And that was one of the few times that I got scared by something. Because Chip and Dale came up and they like come up and interact with people. And I remember that scaring the crap out of me because all of a sudden there was this giant chipmunk behind me poking at me.
Well, even I remember when I was in 8th grade when ceremony, we had gone and we stayed really late, and it was just this magical thing that like after 10 o'clock it was super dead and we had the park to ourselves and we could ride rides over and over and over again.
Right.
And then as we got older, we would tell our son that we're like, I don't know when this magical time exists anymore.
Right.
Because I can't seem to find it.
When I went, it was one of the first years that Toontown opened. Mm-hmm. And I remember we had a magic morning, and I have pictures somewhere. I got to find them. But there were pictures where it is empty. There's only a handful of people through it. I know there's not a lot to do in Toontown, but at that time, the magic morning was only certain lands. And it was because Toontown was new, they opened Toontown the hour early, and the magic morning was just for Toontown.
Can you imagine that now? Holy moly.
Right? It was just like, it's empty. And I remember riding the heck out of
the Roger Rabbit
ride. We just walked on. Like, it was just constant. But even I remember going with my mom and being able to just keep going around Pirates of the Caribbean and Big Thunder. And
I remember going on Pirates when you didn't even have to get back off. They're like, well, there's no one in line, so just keep going.
Yeah.
It was like, this is amazing.
So yeah, I remember those days, and I remember the simplicity of and this is aging me, I know, right?
Back in my day.
Right. There you go. There's the old voice. Back in my day. Only in the 90s. But one of my mom's favorite things to do was to get a hot chocolate and a cinnamon bun.
Yes.
Park closed. Go get a hot chocolate and a cinnamon bun. Sit on Main Street. Just look at the lights and hear the music and all that.
It would be a mellow thing at the end of the night.
Now you can't do that.
Well, because we even used to go and we'd get a hot chocolate and like a cookie or something.
Yeah.
We would change things up and we'd always do that. And now it's just...
It's chaos.
It's hordes of people. And then if you wait past the hordes, then they all close.
Yep.
And you can't get the hot chocolate anymore.
Yeah. So... when we moved down to the States, we were close enough when we started going. It was at a difficult point in our lives.
In our relationship.
And we were reconnecting and all that. And I will full on record say that it's one of the best marriage counseling we could have ever had.
Yes.
I know it'll sounds weird and all that, but it really helped us stay close. Mm-hmm. Because there we were standing in a line, waiting, trying not to use our phone. We had to talk to each other.
And we didn't have our son. We took a few trips by ourselves.
Yeah, we had a couple weekend trips.
So it wasn't us having to take care and be a parent.
And we just we'd get in line.
What else are you going to do in line?
And we talk, and you talk about things, and you talk about that, and we found that spark, that you enjoyment.
Have being in a place like that where you already have something to do. Mm-hmm. Now you can talk about what you enjoyed about that ride or what you want to plan. So you have a reason to talk to each other that's not based just on your relationship.
Yeah.
And then it leads into talking about your relationship.
Exactly.
Right?
It was really the importance of reconnecting and we were able to do it on so many different levels.
Yeah.
And then we were able to bring in our son and be able to experience as a family.
Yes.
To connect, because we ourselves were disconnected really as a family.
Yes, being able to spend time together, quality. And you know what, for myself, just on a personal level, I found my silliness again.
Yes.
I found
You found your whimsy.
My whimsy again, exactly. And I think we found it together in a new light. And it was super important, and then to share that with our son as well.
Exactly.
So
that you don't have to always be so serious.
Yeah. Well, even there, as on a vacation with him, we didn't have to be worrying about homework and school and learning about all that sort of stuff. We could all just be silly together. We also worked really well on trying to talk about taking turns and all having input on choices and things.
Exactly.
Where he'd pick a ride, you'd pick a ride, I'd pick a ride, and we all would share, and it would all be a group effort. It wasn't just, him always just getting to dictate what we're doing or vice versa, right?
Exactly.
So it really helped us work on that, level. So
that whole dynamic. And I remember we celebrated quite a few of our wedding anniversaries there, and there was one that it was our 10th actually.
Yeah.
And we were in line. We were going to go see Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Yes.
Yeah, Disney California Adventure there. And I remember the character handler, he was asking, you're celebrating your anniversary, blah, blah, blah. And we were telling him.
We always got buttons.
Yeah, we always wore buttons. And we told him all this, that we really think that the reconnection of spending time here and all that.
It saved us.
Saved our connection for our marriage and all that. And he almost started crying. And
was really touching, actually.
And he was like, that's one of the things that, as much as the company is based on profits and this, that, and this, he's like, I think a lot of people forget about that family connection that can come from experiencing a theme park.
Yeah.
And he was just so
to him,
genuine, and
that to him, it almost gave him validation of why he works for the company.
Yeah.
And what it can do for the world, and the good reminder, because honestly, the busier it gets and the more the time goes, we see a lot more negative, and it's easy to see the negative. It's easy to get caught up in the go, and I'm sure the employees see the same thing, because the world can be so harsh, and that place is not going to be immune to it. And it really mattered to him. He was really moved by it.
And when we got up to Oswald, that was probably one of the best photo shoots we had with a character in like the longest time. Like the guy was like, no, you're taking as many pictures as we can possibly get. And it was a really good experience.
Well, even for us, the importance of showing them the courtesy and the respect that we want to see from the park itself.
Yep.
You open up to them, you're friendly, you're positive with them, and not like, I'm here.
Yeah,
do my bidding.
Serve me.
You know, and just treat them like they're staff for you.
Yeah.
I love connecting with those people, and the ones that really do open up and play their part to their character that they're playing, and make you feel welcome, and you can sit there and share a story with or talk about with. It's so much more fun.
Yeah.
You know, and for everyone involved.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, going back to the Gravity Falls one, there was one that we had met on our trick-or-treating a couple times.
Yes.
And she was just so happy, you know, that as a family we were dressed up and doing this, and it was, you know...
Yeah, let's see, we've done a couple Halloweens there.
Yeah.
3 Halloweens, or...
Well,
3?
we went once.
We went before we moved down. We went down with my family. Well, the first year we were down, our son was still young, and he was 3, and we did Jake and the Neverland Pirates. And so he was Jake, and me and Mike were his pirate friends.
Izzy and Cubby.
I'm proud of you. You remember them. And then my parents. My dad was Captain Hook,
and your mom was Smee.
And my mom was Smee, and it was amazing. I was so proud of us.
It was a cute costume.
Yeah, and. I'm super impressed with your Captain Hook costume that you threw together. My dad is still super impressed
because they didn't want to dress up. They were just going to show up. They were just going to come with the trick-or-treating with us. And then it was like a couple days before. And
like, no, we should do this.
They're like, maybe I should dress up as Captain Hook. I think it'd be kind of cool. Because your mom already had a white and blue striped shirt.
Yeah, she like Disney bound. We just had to give her a red beanie hat.
Yeah, and she was good. So then it was like, well, how do we make a Captain Hook? So I like ran to Target and like split a like long sleeve maroon jacket, sweatshirt thing.
Yeah.
And then I got some fabric and I sewed some things on there. And it was just a quick like throw together, but it turned out pretty good.
Yeah. So we did that, and then we have done the Guardians of the Galaxy.
We did the Guardians of the Galaxy,
which was super awesome. We were Star-Lord, Gamora. Our son was Rocket.
Yeah.
And then your mom was Groot, actually. And we had a...
That's an emotional one.
Yes.
That's a very emotional one because my mom made him the Rocket costume.
Out of full fuzz.
Full fur. So unfortunately it turned out to not work out super well for him because that was
100 degrees on Halloween.
100 degrees on the day we went there. So he burnt up. My mom was making a Groot costume, but unfortunately my mom had some gnarly cancer. So she wasn't fully finished, but she still wore what she was able to make, and it still was pretty cool for what she was able to do because she was starting to lose the dexterity in her fingers. But that was the last time we had actually spent time with my mom before she had passed.
Yeah, that's a really important time for sure.
Yeah, so that's one of those like heavy, good memories, but heavy memories.
I understand.
But we did that. You and me, we went for our anniversary once, and we did a trick-or-treating thing. We did a Disney bound.
Oh yeah, we were
Rapunzel and
Flynn.
Yeah,
that was really awesome because that was the first time we were able to actually stand in line to meet Rapunzel.
Yeah,
when they had brought her to meet as a character.
Yeah,
and we were standing in line, and it was Flynn and Rapunzel.
Yeah,
and so Flynn had saw you in line.
Yeah.
And had totally recognized who you were because you weren't in the full costume, as I say. It was Disney bound, but it was a really good Disney bound.
Henley.
Yeah, and like a sweater vest.
I cut a vest and all that.
And it's
kind of like a hipstery.
Yeah, Flynn was. It was really cool because he
got a little handsy though.
But he was super positive and super happy about it. You know, I was like, wait, someone dressed up like me?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It was really fun.
And that was really cool.
Gravity Falls.
We've also done, it wasn't like trick-or-treating Halloween time, but we've done Jack and Sally and Zero.
Yeah, we've done
that. And we've done, we mentioned Star of Marco, and we did Zootopia Disney Bounding. Yeah. Me and you had done Mickey and Minnie for our anniversary as well.
Yeah.
That was our 10th anniversary, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went, I had this awesome dress that was a
polka dotted dress. And I just wore red pants and a black polo, and I got a bow tie.
Yeah.
And I had my yellow Converse.
I had yellow shoes. I bought yellow flat shoes for that. It was like, I can't not have yellow shoes. Yeah. Like, this just has to happen. And they were just the weirdest shoes. I was like, when am I ever going to wear them? I wear them at least once a week now to work. It's just, they're perfect now. So it's quite funny.
But yeah, we spent a lot of time there. We've had a lot of good memories. Our whole wall was filled with shadow boxes from our trips.
We like to do that. We collect pins and we put a major picture. Well, we went when we were younger. We went to the 50th anniversary and we went to the 60th anniversary. Yeah. And those were very
We were there on the 55th. Not super important.
No, but we were still there, right? Yeah. So we've seen a lot of the changes. Our son, his first trip there was when he was 6 months old. And we
have a very adorable picture of him grabbing Mickey's nose.
Yes. That's just unbelievably wonderful. Yeah. He had Mickey ears from them too. They had like baby blue Mickey ears. Yeah, he was just this little tiny thing. And he's been going on rides since he could. Every single time we would base our time on his height. And we would once he hit 48 inches, it was like, we don't have to care about how tall you are now. You can ride the rides. Yeah. It was, what's the point?
We constantly we'd be like, okay, once you hit this is the next time we can go.
And as soon as he was those heights, we would be on those rides. And he has ridden all of them that he could for his height. Yep. And from the very beginning of time that he could. And he was riding Pirates and Haunted Mansion when he was 6 months old and ever since. So we've gone through all the different ones, and I think it really helped him with fear, because we've seen kids before screaming and terrified and their parents getting frustrated. Yeah. And we've only ever had that more when it was Tower of Terror. That was the only one that he was totally terrified for.
But once it became Guardians, he was okay with it.
You know what I loved is when we would be in line for things like Matterhorn or Big Thunder or Splash Mountain, and there'd be a kid nearby that was panicking, and our son would help them.
Yeah, he talked to them.
He would talk to them and tell them how cool it was and how much fun it was and how he understood how they were freaked out. And there are some scary parts, but it's totally worth it, and it's super fun, and it was so cute to see him
because he talked to some of the older kids too, though, right? Like,
some of the people that just weren't sure, because he had gotten to that point where he was like, I got this. Yeah, because he'd been there so
many times,
right?
What are some of your favorite rides?
Some of my favorite rides. Haunted Mansion and Pirates and Big Thunder probably are my 3 favorite rides there. Okay. They are my must-haves. And a lot of it is based because my second trip that I took in my life in 8th grade was this big turning point, and those are the 3 rides we rode the most, especially Pirates and Big Thunder. They were really huge, important things for me. And then I also have now loved Matterhorn. Yeah. I had a hard time with it when I was younger. I didn't like the ride system. The chairs were uncomfortable, but I really have come to love it now. I also really love Alice. I always loved it anyway, but when they redid it and added some of those new special effects and the mapping, I love that upgrade. So those ones are probably my favorites. What about you?
Haunted Mansion has always been my favorite. It's just that perfect amount of creepy for me. It's not like horrific. It's silly eerie. Creepy. Yeah. And of course Pirates has always been something that's been super fun, because it's just like la la la, and then it's like we're maiming things and blowing things up, and
I love the smell of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, you got a weird obsession with this. I know, the dry ice fog.
I don't know why. I love the smell of Pirates of the Caribbean. Right. It's like, it's not Disneyland until I have that.
Until you smell that fog.
Yeah. Like, it's just a thing.
Big Thunder is fantastic, but out of the mountains, I really like Space Mountain. I haven't been the biggest fan over the years where they've changed it to Ghost Galaxy or the Star Wars one. I just like classic Space Mountain. Yeah. But Matterhorn has always been my favorite mountain. Less now that it's become more of a water ride.
It's terrifying now. We have gotten absolutely soaking wet on that ride. It is horrible in the morning where you're like, oh, sweet, I'm going to ride the Matterhorn because it's totally dead. I am so soaking wet because I took the wrong side of the mountain, and now I just got a complete wall of water on me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know when it be, because like I remember never touchdowning and getting even.
You only get wet on the left hand side.
So
the right hand side is the more boring side, but it's the safe side.
Yeah, and it's just weird that like in the last couple of years it just became a water ride. They're just like they're like yeah. You want to go on this side? Guess what? Splash.
Right? Is it like when Splash Mountain isn't running or something?
Maybe,
is that causing a problem? Is the water levels higher? I don't know.
But yeah, I like the ambiance. I like the theme park aspect. I'm not a big amusement park fan.
Yeah.
I like the idea of stepping into another world and the immersion of it.
Yeah.
So I really find that fun.
Yeah.
With DCA, it grew on me. I never really liked the postcard theme they had right off the bat. Mm-hmm. It's still, as much as it has a lot going for it right now, I miss that they took away Soaring Over California.
Very much so.
Because it's no longer really becoming California Adventure.
Yeah.
It's just becoming whatever.
It's becoming Disneyland Part 2.
Yeah.
Well, I miss that some of those worldwide things for the Soaring Over the World, it doesn't feel unique enough for being there, and I liked that it would show different parts of California that maybe you didn't realize were there.
Yeah, exactly. And that was really fun with all the scents and all that that they had. It worked.
I smelled oranges the other day, and it just reminded me of Soarin', and I was like, well, this is weird. I'm having like hardcore flashbacks on that one.
The thing I don't like about the new Soaring Over the World, any of our son noticed it, that some of the monuments are too tall for the screen, and certain portions of the screen, they get warped.
Yeah, it's totally trippy.
It's not.
Everything bends. It's like, you guys didn't quality control this well enough to know the different seats.
So that's one thing that's kind of sad for me. I like Grizzly Rapids, but it's another one of those ones where you get like way too wet. But as much as
we have good times riding on that in the summertime and over and over and over again late at night.
Oh yeah, I remember that one where we got to stay at the Grand California once, and we closed out the night riding rapids
over and over again, because then we could just get off the ride and walk right into a hotel, which was awesome. And
nothing like walking into a 4-star hotel. It's dripping wet.
Yeah, it's like, you asked for this. Well,
you put the gate here.
It was so late. We were able to just stay on the raft.
Yeah, they didn't kick
and they
us
just
off.
didn't care.
They just didn't care,
which was awesome,
because no one was coming on, and they were just like, well, it's still running until the end, so keep going.
You know, it's one of my, not as much anymore now, but one of my favorite parts of DCA, Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. So many Sundays.
Good times. Love me some ice cream.
Well, it's good ice cream, though. It's good ice cream.
That was one of those things for us that's really good quality ice cream, so that was a really special thing for us there, right?
Well, we did, because with the fact that we had annual passes, we went 4 times in 1 year, and in between those trips, there was big enough gaps where we just like withstood and didn't eat out. We didn't
have the ice cream. We didn't have the desserts. We saved everything for
and then it was like, we
then we just eat whatever we want.
Yeah.
So
calories don't count when they're at Disneyland.
Exactly.
But Tower was my favorite ride at California Adventure.
Yeah.
I really do like it as Guardians Mission Breakout.
Yes.
But I still miss Tower because I like the creepy.
I like the creepy.
That's one thing that's a little sad. I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because unfortunately, as much as DCA has changed and grown, it still doesn't have enough to really be there for a full day.
Yeah, it's still, that's why it's hard sometimes to not get the hopper, because to have just one whole day there isn't really worth it.
No.
It's like, over there is still so much of an eating park.
Yes.
It's like, well, what am I supposed, I don't know, I guess we can go eat some more.
Yes.
Because that's all we're gonna do. And now I love the Little Mermaid over there, though.
Yeah,
that was a huge thing for me. Is like, they finally have a Little Mermaid
They
ride.
listened to me.
I know, right?
All those years of complaining that there was no mermaids in the park.
You know, when they first brought it out, I like the improvements they made to it after the fact. Those little adjustments really made a big difference for it, because at first it was like, sure, sweet, I'll take it because it's a mermaid ride and I don't care that it's bright and I can see all the working behind the scenes. But the adjustments, the Ursula animatronic is just mind-blowingly amazing, right? So
Cars Land is beautifully done.
Yes.
It's very immersive and very cool.
Yeah.
Especially Radiator Springs Racer. So hopefully they bring that scale of immersion when they make the Marvel
and that was such a huge thing for our son.
Yes.
To be there. He really was important to him to be able to meet those characters and everything, because that was one of his big monumental movies as a child, right? So.
Yeah, he loved Cars.
But I mean, we love DCA, but Disneyland is still
our number one.
I mean,
that was always whenever we get in and we go to the hotel, drop our stuff, it'd be like, where are we going? We're going to Disneyland.
And you know what? One of our biggest things too for our anniversaries, we would always have our anniversary dinner at the French Market. Mm-hmm. That was our
red
big
beans
thing.
and
red
rice
beans
and
rice
coffin cake.
And coffin cake. That was a big thing. We have many years of pictures of that.
Yep.
Because New Orleans Square is one of our favorite places, and
it just feels like home.
Yeah, it's comforting there.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it change. We've seen it gotten busier. We've seen it got more expensive. All that sort of stuff. And I still think if you just said, sure, I can go to Disneyland tomorrow, I'd be right there and I would just be happy as can be and super calm and at peace. You know, that is our relaxation spot and our connection and our silly. And it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
And we have so many good memories, as I say. I mean, our son has been now way more times than we ever did as a child. And for most children that he knows,
right?
Like, oh yeah, he went there so many times, but we took a lot of times ourselves, which was great. So.
And it was fantastic having those moments.
Yeah,
we've been to Disney World. I've been there twice. You've been there once.
Yes, we went there for a belated honeymoon for us, and then you were there in high school?
Yeah, and I'd love to be able to go back there. I'd love to be able to go with him.
Yes.
So that's our I think one of our next big adventures is try to save up for that.
Yes.
To be able to experience
my favorite place there was Animal Kingdom. That was my favorite park. I was just blown away.
Well, it was very immersive.
Yeah, and it was, to me, it was great because you could see so many different things and feel like I traveled the world.
Yeah, that's why I loved Epcot.
Well, Epcot, we're such different people now.
Back in the day, Katie was not a big fan of A, vegetables, and B, any food that had anything that wasn't
traditional American food.
Yeah, so
I was very close-minded on food and its flavors.
When I was trying to surprise her when we were doing our anniversary and all that, I had thought, well, Germany should be good. I'm making reservations at the beer garden-y, sausage and all that. That didn't go over super well because it didn't have just sausage.
It's traditional German food. It's not like, Americanized German food.
Yeah, right. So that was kind of a little bit of a whoopsie.
Yeah.
But fun fact too, we did not hydrate when we went there, and
we had
Epcot,
like heat stroke in Epcot.
We were going along and we went into the French Pavilion and there was the movie that plays.
Yeah.
And we both fell asleep.
We had water and it was dark and it was air conditioned and we fell asleep in the theater. It was just, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it makes me sad too because it's like, even in France, like all the pastries and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was like, no, what is this?
Yeah, I remember I was all excited to try to show you some of these things.
I'm so sad at myself so I have to go back only because I'm a better person and I would be more enjoyable for things. I would love to be able to see all those different lands and feel, and I would try all that stuff. I mean, I eat so much more variety of food everywhere,
Yeah.
And it would be just such a better experience for sure. Yeah. I remember panicking and thinking I had like a heart attack. I was going to have real health problems after the mission space.
Oh,
right?
yes.
You found that out later, but I was like, I totally let all those warnings get to my head.
Yeah,
and I felt,
she almost psyched yourself out.
Yeah.
All the...
Yeah, oh my goodness. I was totally terrified. Well, okay, because, I mean, a little bit of history, though. I was a lot heavier than I am now.
Yeah.
So I was not in good shape. I was very, very overweight. I wanted just that alone experience it more because I have more energy. I can be on my feet more. I have more stamina, all that sort of stuff,
We can handle the heat better.
Everything about that, right? And so it would be a completely different experience. It was 2006 when we went. It's been a long time. 13 years in October.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And
so we need to make it happen.
We need to. And
I would like to eventually be able to figure out how to go to the Japan and the Paris and even the Hong Kong or
our son has decided that is our life goals is to go to those.
Because it's fun. It's immersive and it's fun to be at. Their innovation on things is incredible.
Yeah.
It's just good family time.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I like doing that too is because a lot of times at home it's easy to laze about.
Yeah.
You can watch movies or TV and you can adventure around your own home and all that, but I'm not one to want to sit when I'm away.
Yeah, you want to be doing something.
Yeah, and I like the immersion.
Yeah. Let's not forget he also loves palm trees and sunshine.
True. Palm trees and sunshine are pretty amazing.
You know what? We do not have a trip down there without the traditional staring up underneath the palm tree picture. It has become his trademark. he does beautiful pictures of that. But palm trees are always a major part of our photo. You know what's one thing that's great too with all of our holidays down there? We always made photo album books. And we always took lots of pictures, and we would go onto Shutterfly and we would make little books to just sort of help us remember things. And I love that we can look back at all of these major trips. We have our shadow boxes that highlight, you know, some souvenirs, key moments, our major picture from it, and those are awesome. But then we have our books that will highlight all the other little things, and I think that really is important because neither one of us grew up taking real family vacations. No. And I think that's why we always put a lot of precedence and priority on those. We spent a lot of money, but we were making a lot of memories with our son. Because and I mean, well, heck, my son for Mother's Day last year broke my heart and made me feel good all at the same time. He gives me a photo. Part of it in school was, Mom, I love you because. And it was a picture of him standing in front of this, and his little sign was, Mom, I love you because you planned such good Disneyland vacations. And it was I'm so glad that you appreciate going on a vacation, you appreciate the memories, but I feel so horrible because I can't bring you to Disneyland right now. You know, so there's a catch-22 on that one for sure. No,
I know. We got to take him other places for sure, but it's been such a positive thing for our family.
But we've had good family vacations otherwise. We did, you know, vacations in California, other places like that too, you know. So, but yeah, overall positive. It saved our marriage. It saved our own sanity, I think, on an individual level, and it definitely brought us closer to our son.
Exactly.
For sure. So Disney for the win overall.
Yeah.
Huge part of us.
Exactly. So there you have it. There's our odyssey through all things that we enjoy Disney. There's probably many more things we could talk about, but by now you're probably at your destination. But and you know a lot more about us than you ever did. So
yeah, I mean,
ding for the win. There's a soul. This is this end part here is the deepest inside. It's not just fluff. It was serious and all that.
Thought provoking and monumental.
Yeah, all those words that you use when you want to sound.
It was sincere.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Or was it? Was it all a ruse? No.
Oh. Ruined it.
Questioning.
And back to Mike.
But yeah, so there you have it. Inside Disney, Mike and Katie edition.
There we go.
Through all eras, decades, colors, and rainbows, and ice cream.
Churros. And beignets. Because then there's Downtown Disney and the Jazz Kitchen and beignets.
Yes. The Jazz Kitchen has amazing beignets.
And the Jazz Kitchen in general.
It's a great restaurant. Yes. Definitely worth a check out.
Anyways.
Thank you all for joining us. Let us know what you thought and if you have any feelings on
And if you're Disney
things.
fiends too. We've already met some Disney fiends down there. It was awesome.
Especially through our social media.
So, let us know your different thoughts and things and favorite movies and cartoon shows.
Exactly.
Did anyone else think they imagined gargoyles? Thank you for joining us, everyone.
And have a marvelous day.
Thank you for listening. Love this episode of Cup of Rad? Please subscribe, rate us, and give us a review. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more rad content.